All right, Ayush, let's get back to what we're supposed to do.
No,
Let's get
this
back
guy
to the
thinks
action.
Chelsea wants to win the Champions League when they can't even beat West Brom. I mean, that was such jokes, man. They want
Well,
to
this
win the
from like a
Champions League.
bogey opponent, dude. Like it's like in Football Manager, like a particular team you just can't beat. Like
Yeah,
you
it's
can
like
look at
their
it that way.
kryptonite this season.
Well, yeah, basically, yeah, that's a pretty good, like,
Mm,
that's the perfect term for it. Yeah, I love the
yeah,
usage of the term kryptonite there. So,
yeah.
okay, we'll talk about CL first. Like that, we just watched the two CL games last night and the night before. What were your expectations on it first? Like, I want to get your an idea of what you were thinking before, like on Tuesday night, like before the game started. Like, what were you expecting out of the games?
So, to be honest, first of all, Dortmund, we'll go about Bayern and PSG. I thought Bayern could have been won like 3-2 instead of losing 2-3. Even though
Yeah.
they were missing out Lewandowski, they played extremely well. The amount of
No, I'm
balls
not
they
asking you
put
about the
in.
games itself. I'm asking you about what were you thinking before? Like, did you have any expectations in your mind, and
Yeah,
were
I
you
had
like, did
dreams
you think
of
this would be
Kimmich whipping
this
in
is what we're
balls.
going to watch?
Yeah, I mean, no, not really. Not was. I thought Bayern versus PSG would be slightly less interesting than the match that took place yesterday.
Yeah, okay.
I
That's
didn't
that's the
watch
game we're
the
going to start with anyways, because that was the big game of the four fixtures that we have. We have another comment here from Ice Ninja again. He talks about how Bayern versus PSG was intense, the
absolutely, dude.
Muller showing blood and everything.
Oh
So
yeah,
there are
that
a lot of
was jokes, man.
a lot of things went down in that game last night. Some of which it was hard to catch even while you were watching. So let's start from Kylian Mbappe. Uh, well, he answered the questions on Haaland versus Mbappe. He got a punch in, didn't he?
I mean, I guess, but then you have to give it to Haaland that he's playing with a team of bottlers. If he's not wrong, you know.
Well,
I
it's a
mean,
team which is it's like Dortmund. We'll get to Dortmund. I have a few thoughts on what's going on there, but like still like Mbappe was irresistible. Like it was so good to watch. He looked like the road runner from the Looney Tunes, like yeah, I
yeah.
think that's what it's from. So he was just
To
like the
be
moment he
fair,
got the ball, he's off and he's in, and it was. Whew, I do not envy Manuel Neuer after yesterday at all.
the first goal wasn't actually to his credit. He took a shot, fair enough, but Neuer should have done better there.
It
It
was a
slipped out
hard
of his
shot
hand.
though. It wasn't like he just slipped or it was hit. It was a well hit shot. Neuer
He
should have
got
saved
his
it.
body
Don't
behind
get
it.
me
Yeah.
wrong, but yeah.
The second goal of his was amazing. The one where he waited for Boating to open his legs and go for the new
I
post
thought
instead of going for
we were
the
talking about this yesterday. So you thought it was because he was waiting for Boateng to open his legs. I thought he was
yeah
waiting for the guy to start. Like the moment he gets close enough to press, he'll shoot just before, because that's where the guards of the other defenders will be down, because this guy is closing in, right? That's what the angle was that I was thinking on. Like because it's like three of them, right? Mbappe was waiting with the ball here. Boateng was right in front
yeah.
of him, and there was, I think, Alaba was closing in from here. So the moment Alaba was about to reach, he shot just before, because that's when the defender and the keeper, they kind of let their guard down a little bit. Boateng opened his legs. That you're right about that, but like there was an added element of thinking from Mbappe's
Yeah,
perspective. That's what I
that's
thought.
what I
Like
was saying.
that was
If it
genius.
was
Like
any other striker, he would have gone for the far post of Neuer, the right one.
yeah, yeah, he would have,
He
yes.
chose to
And
go for
Neuer
the other
looked like
one.
he was covering that because he was so like
Yeah,
his body was so in that position, because then you look at the goal and you see there is so much space for him, and that's when you realize that yeah, like Neuer was completely deceived. That is why yesterday also on the group text that you were talking on, I thought it was very similar to what Messi did against Boateng and Neuer in 2016, I believe, when
oh
he laid
yeah.
Boateng
He
down and
ended
then
his
he chipped
career. Yeah,
Neuer.
yeah, yeah.
Like it wasn't
I
the same
remember
thing
that.
exactly, but like the mental, like the genius of it was not too far
It was
from that.
brilliant. I didn't expect Mbappe to finish like that. Okay, fine, he's fast, he dribbles well, but having a precise finishing criteria like Ronaldo or Messi, that I didn't expect to have, and he showed
And
it
he's like
yesterday.
20, 21 year, 22,
Yeah.
some age, some ridiculous number. Ah, he's younger than me. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So okay, and let's talk about the overall PSG team. Neymar was excellent.
Yeah, he
He
also
was his
had an
usual
amazing
Neymar
game.
self, throwing himself around.
when
that's
he's
part of his
playing,
game.
he's
Not
usually brilliant. Yeah, when he's playing, he's
not
usually
part of
brilliant.
I don't see that as an issue like him diving, and he has to be protected. Like he gets it a lot. Like even Grealish is, I believe, the same
Yeah.
way. Like you have to anticipate the hits after a point. So I don't mind him going down. He does over exaggerate it. That's just a fact. We've seen it all. We've seen the
I
Brazil
think
ones.
he's
We've
had
seen
that
everything.
effect on Mbappe, and that's one thing I don't like about Mbappe.
Yeah, there's an
He's
attitude
become a
about
bit
Mbappe in the
crybaby,
past couple
yeah.
of years. He was a bright-eyed youngster who just walked in and didn't realize how good he was, and now I think he just started realizing how good he was. Like the Miami Heat, the villains, the LeBron James goes to Miami kind of attitude they have now. So
I have no clue what you're talking about. I don't understand.
yeah, it's an
basketball.
NBA thing, man. Like it's if somebody who's watches the NBA, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Like I apologize for I'll watch a lot of basketball and I love it. So it generally I come up with a lot of basketball comparisons because it's a lot more narrative based. Like football has its narratives, but basketball like takes the narratives to the next level. They're really good with that kind of stuff. So sorry about that. So
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
I guess I still think, even though PSG won, I think Bayern was a better team yesterday, apart from the counters and everything. I still
yeah,
think-
let's get to Bayern now. Do you want to discuss like Keylor Navas was really good yesterday? Let's
Yeah,
finish off
he
with
was
PSG,
brilliant.
then we'll move on. And I thought the backline was a bit shaky at times, but they held firm. And especially with the amount of injury, there were a lot of injuries yesterday. Like a lot of people went off
four
injured. Like,
substitutions.
there were
in the
4
first
substitutions in the
45
first half.
minutes.
Yeah, it was kind of ridiculous. And
I had my dream team planned out, man. 4 of my players got out in the first half. We lost there only. My dad and I are just sitting there. We had Marquinhos, he left. We had Goretzka, he left. And we were like, okay, so we're not winning anything today.
And okay. I don't think there's a lot more discussing from PSG perspective. We have to move on. It's we can't. We had a guest and everything.
We're
So
already
let's talk about
30
Bayern
minutes
Munich.
in.
Go ahead. Start on Bayern Munich. Let's see what you got.
Bayern Munich. Apart from the finishing, I think they had a great performance. I mean, there was no stopping Kylian Mbappe. I can't blame Alaba and voting for that. I mean, he's one of the fastest players in the world with the ball also. The finishing, that's where the problem comes with. I think they could have been much better if they had the likes of Lewandowski or even Gnabry. I think Choupo-Moting.
Did you
his
know
head
that
was
31
amazing.
shots yesterday? Did you know that?
Yeah, I saw that. That's what the thing. I saw them taking a lot of chances and everything, but I didn't think it was 31 shots. But
Yeah,
only
because I
6
was
of them
editing
were
Tino's
target.
article about it. Like he wrote the recap on it, right? And like you also wrote a recap. We'll talk about it. So he wrote the number. I saw the number 31, and I was like, is he sure about that? And I had to go and check.
Yeah, I thought first.
And shout out to that article. That's a good fucking recap for it. Like check out Tino's article on the Footy Report. It's really well written and it's a really enjoyable
We'll leave
article.
the
Like I
Footy
really
Report
enjoyed it.
website in our bio in the link of this YouTube video.
Yeah,
that
it's.
people can check
I
it
think
out.
it's there. I think the Instagram account is there. I'll put it in. No worries.
Yeah.
Like I'll put it in the comments if nothing else. So please check that article out. It's a good article. Really enjoyed reading that. And Bayern Munich, like they really missed Lewandowski. Like a lot of moments you
Yeah.
realize, like if Lewandowski was on the ball, or if Lewandowski was moving towards this, or if Lewandowski was doing that, even the commentators referred to it multiple times. You
Yeah.
realize that the edge that Bayern Munich played well. You're absolutely right about that. But the problem was that there was one cog that was missing, and that cog became so vital for them. And you could that is the best example of you missing a player, of you having that final piece who fits in and finishes your puzzle. Because I think Bayern Munich would have scored 4 or 5 or 6 if Lewandowski was there. Because
At least, you know.
it was
The
they
chances he
really
created.
missed him, and you realize how good Lewandowski is. That's how you realize how good he is when he's not there, and that's the
The worst
mark
part
of a
is-
superstar, a world class player.
The worst part is he's not even there next week, so they're doomed this week. You know. He's
No,
not
I
gonna
believe
be in
there is
for
a
the
chance
next
he
leg.
gets fit for next week. There is a chance he gets fit next week.
I'm not sure he'll be playing though. It's said 4 weeks till like last week, but yeah.
Like from what I heard, there was like Ramos and Lewandowski announcements came around the same time, right? So Ramos has
yeah.
confirmed he's not going to play the next leg, but Lewandowski, there might be a slight chance that he comes in. It's
I
a
mean, if
slight
he
chance.
comes in, then Bayern have a chance of winning 3-1.
I don't know
guess.
what condition he comes in. Also, like I'm not going to.
Yeah,
vote
that's
for
also
him, but
quite-
That's just like we can. Okay, so who do you
I
think will
still
win
think-
the overall leg? Like, let's go with the prediction. Let's see
I
where.
mean, it's just Lewandowski changing the tie. If he's not there, PSG might even pull a 1-1 and sit defensively, and they'll win in away goals. Like anything. Even if they lose
Okay.
2-1 at home. They still
Yeah.
run away goals. They have a really
Yeah,
good
yeah,
advantage
yeah.
of 3 away goals.
The three
So I
away
think
goals is
PSG
a
will.
big factor here, right? It makes this
Yeah.
fixture really enticing. Like you're really exciting second leg we have on our hand. So let's move
Yeah.
on to the second one, the historical big bang of clashes. The best clash like you could have. AC Milan hasn't played in the Champions League for a while. That is why we have to stick with this one. It's the two most prestigious Champions League clubs in the world. It's Real Madrid versus Liverpool. So, what did you think about this one?
Yeah, so I wrote an article about this, and first of all,
Yeah,
I was watching with a friend. My friend and I were as surprised as anyone in the world when we saw Vinicius Junior can also finish. And oh
yeah,
my, what a
that
game
was
that he
surprising.
had.
Definitely, yeah. Like he's weird. Like I don't know. In the round of 16, also he had some fumble like that. Like he was clear on goal and he missed it, and you're wondering
He's
what's
done it
wrong with
against
this guy.
Barcelona. You know, the thing is, he's an amazing dribbler. He's good on the ball. He's
Oh,
Brazilian,
definitely.
basically.
Yeah.
He's Brazilian in that factor. But when it
Yeah,
comes to finishing, you can see how he hasn't trained there. Like,
Yeah,
even
but
in
I
passing,
think
he's
he's
not that
improving
great.
though. Hmm.
He is.
Well, these two finishes told us something like that he can
Yeah.
finish. It's not like he can't. He's just there's a mental side to it that he's getting to grasp. It's understandable also, man. He's like 20 years
I
old. He was
think,
18 when he
yeah.
came in, and it's a hard transition to make. We don't give these people we don't give footballers enough credit for the amount of work they've done and the
Yeah.
amount of transition they have to face. So he's a young guy. He's basically your age, and like imagine making a transition like that. It's kind of ridiculous to ask of a
Plus,
person.
even his teammates, Benzema went on to say that he's playing against for us and please don't pass the ball.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
also
yeah,
has a
yeah,
mental
yeah,
dip
yeah,
on
I
my head.
heard that. Yes.
Plus, he's like a senior player, so he can't even go and beef with him, He just has to take
Yeah,
it.
that
and
was
then,
kind of like
he took it
unnecessary, wasn't it? Like
It wasn't
no need to
expected
do
out of Benzema. He's a senior player. He's supposed to be helping them. Imagine if Ronaldo had said that about Benzema, how the mental toll he would have had.
Well, yeah, I don't believe Benzema ever gave Ronaldo any reason, because I think Benzema is easily the best partner that Ronaldo ever had as a.
Oh yeah, but he has had some few poor finishes in the games when
Oh
Ronaldo
no,
even supported
that's
him.
I think that's part and parcel of the game for a striker, especially when you're creating a lot of chances and you play for a very high level side.
Exactly, so that he shouldn't be doing that for his own teammate Vinicius Junior. You know who we need.
Yeah,
who
that
we
was
know
incorrect
is a
from
young
Benzema's
player.
side, definitely. So okay, let's get to the the trio of brilliance, which is
Toni
Modric, Kroos,
and Casemiro.
Casemiro,
My
and
God.
it is.
I almost forgot they were the best trio in the world in the midfield.
They were the best trio in the world, weren't they? Like it was kind of. And another thing I realized yesterday is that Marquinhos and Kimpembe is the best centre back partnership in world football right now. You can debate me on this. Like I will die on this hill. It is currently the best defensive partnership in the world. So
I saw their tackling rates and everything. It's pretty impressive. I agree.
it
But
is,
talking
and
about the
and
midfield
they've got
trio,
everything. They cover every facet of it. Like, let's not get into that. We'll get into that centre back partnership.
Yeah.
We'll have a special episode. We'll talk about 15 minutes. I'll talk about that partnership. So
we love that.
yeah,
So
we'll
the
talk
midfield
about
trio.
yeah.
I've never seen a midfield trio completely stabilize if Liverpool attack. The whole attack was handled in the midfield only. It didn't even reach the defense properly.
They
I think
ruined the
Mendy has a
midfield.
job.
They ruined Liverpool's midfield completely. They
My
were
God.
like, I didn't even realize Wijnaldum was playing till like 50 minutes into the game.
My God,
And the
seriously.
only highlight package that he's part of is when Vinicius scored the third goal, because Wijnaldum was completely stationary for that goal.
Oh yeah,
like,
he was doing the
Oh my
mannequin
god! Like the
challenge.
Liverpool midfield three was so bad, but like quite a lot of the credit has to go to the trio that ruined them.
It's not even about them being bad. I mean, Wijnaldum has a poor performance, but like they were just so much better.
Oh,
that
there's a
it
lot of
made them
interaction
look
from
bad.
our YouTube. Like it's there's a lot of stuff going on. I can't bring on all your comments, guys. I'm sorry, but like just please listen to us. We'll talk about the things you're talking about in the comments.
We
Yeah, go ahead,
actually have
Ayush.
viewers
Sorry to
and
interrupt.
people. Yeah, no, I think apart from them and Vinicius Junior, the Tony Cruz ball, the first goal. Oh my God,
that was
that's
so
amazing. That
But he should have
vision,
been pressed. Like there was so much space for Tony Cruz. We've seen him do that so many times. He's been doing that since he was at Bayern Munich, like 10 years ago.
Exactly.
Come on,
They
like
still
you have to do
underrated
better.
even on the pitch. I mean,
You can't underrate
in the
him. Like,
football world.
he's won everything that you can win. Like there is no one
Exactly,
trophy left
that's
for
the
Tony
worst
Cruz
part.
to win.
And then I don't know why there wasn't a tactic like don't let Tony Cruz give a long ball. and press him high up on the pitch. I mean,
They
why
didn't
would you do that?
we'll have to talk about Liverpool. I think Liverpool, there's a
Yeah.
deep dive there for us. Like we can go deep into see what's went wrong for them this game. And I have to shout out Thibaut Courtois because that man is huge. Like he looked like he was like double the size of
6'4" or
anybody else on
something.
the pitch, and he was so
My God.
like there's a composure to him. I've seen him a lot at Chelsea, but like there was some weird like he's gotten so good now, but we don't talk about it.
That
Thibaut
man
Courtois
replaced
is
Cech.
excellent.
That man
He didn't have to
replaced
do much
Petr
though.
Cech.
He didn't have to do much, but
Yeah.
everything he did, there was such a calmness and there was a sereneness to his attitude, and I was really impressed by that.
I mean, I still didn't like the way that Navas was sold off from Madrid for Thibaut
Oh,
Courtois.
Navas
But
is
still,
another one,
he's still
super
at-
underrated.
Yeah, both of them are at some similar level that okay, fine. You can have
Navas is
either
not
or.
too far from the best. Like he's never been too far
Yeah.
from the best, but he just never got that credit. And PSG
Yeah.
have an excellent keeper right now.
Hmm. That's fair. Yeah, talking about Liverpool. So first of all, I'd like to shout out Klopp's, what do you say, excuses. Those were some bullshit excuses that he gave. That the
Okay,
stadium
let's hear
wasn't
the
as
excuses
nice.
then. Let's go ahead and say what they were.
He said that they were playing in the training ground of Madrid, right? If I'm not wrong. They weren't
Yeah,
playing
that's their
in a
training stadium. Yes, I think the youth
Yeah, he
team or the
said
women's
first of
team
all-
play in those stadiums generally.
Yeah, he said that it's not a proper stadium. We'll be having them at Liverpool.
That's
in,
bullshit.
Anfield.
Like I don't
We've
have a
seen
buzzer
what
for
they've
like
done at
bullshit
Anfield.
buzzer or something like that, but that's
Yeah.
bullshit.
They've lost 6 games consecutively. I think in the last is their Anfield home only. I don't think they're going
Yeah.
to win there either. And talking
Hmm.
about Trent Arnold, oh my God, the performance that he
The
had.
second goal. Oh my god, yeah,
It
that
just
was
ended the conversation of him being the right back for England's position. You know.
like see that's the biggest problem with Trent right now. Like everything he's doing, like I think Grace Robertson on Twitter also said this. She said that everything that Trent does now from here to the Euros, everything or till at least the squads are announced, everything he'll do
Yeah.
will be looked from just that perspective, whether he goes or not. And that's a ridiculous kind of pressure to put on someone. Like let him play his
That's true.
football. Like judge him over a period of time. Don't judge him on individual moments. Like that was a
That's true.
mistake. I'm not defending Trent's mistake. I'm just saying that football is not analyzed in moments. Like football has to be analyzed over periods of time. Leagues are won over periods of time. Champion leagues are won over periods of time. It doesn't happen in moments, right? So you have to give him a span of games. Let him do his stuff. He's still excellent. He's an excellent right back. He's not in the best form right now. Just that's how it should be. Let the man play his football. Let his football do the
that's-
talking.
That's where I disagree with you. I don't think
Yeah.
he's an excellent right back. He's an excellent player though. His attacking
Okay.
contribution is out of the world.
Hmm.
But when he's on his defense, he has been troubled. You have seen Vinicius Jr. turn him around.
Yes,
and this
there
happens in a
have
lot
been-
of games.
Yes.
You know, the problem about him is if he's not attacking well, there's not much left in his game. Even when he plays with Liverpool, his attacking prowess is known better. That's why Reece James is chosen over Aaron Van Bissaka and Trent, because Aaron Van Bissaka might have the best defensive ability out of all three. Trent might be the best going forward, but James is the, what do you say?
Yeah, I think
the most
physicist
versatile
Lessons
option.
agrees with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the most versatile option to go at for right back for England.
Hmm,
And looking at the squad that England have, they don't exactly need a creative right back right now. They have Jack Grealish, they have, what do you say, Lingard, they have Kane, they have a lot of creative players up front. Mason Mount, Jadon Sancho. They don't need their right back to also come in forward and give more crosses. They can do with a player like Reece James, who is better defensively. So yeah, I don't think he'll be making the squads. Nonetheless, of his performances going forward.
So the trend thing, I think one thing that I think about this Liverpool side, we won't discuss Liverpool too much for their Arsenal win now because like we are discussing Liverpool right now. They were excellent in their win. Trent was excellent in that game. But the problem with Liverpool right now is what I feel is their team is so interdependent. Like the Man City thing also, like the Man City slump that happened a year ago and transitioning into this season, the teams with these kinds of attacking philosophies and possession-based philosophies and high pressing philosophies, they are so structured. And there is, like what happened with Bayern Munich yesterday. They missed that one hole, like their one peg. Yeah, so I think that's what's the problem with this Liverpool team also. And a lot of the blame overall for Liverpool season has to go on Klopp because he could not figure out another way for this side to play, which is what Pep has done. And he's made a bigger monster out of that Man City team than we've seen before. They might have been weak against Dortmund, a bit like on the shabbier side, but they're still a monster, and they will still be a
Erling
monster
Haaland
even if they get
bossed Ruben
eliminated.
Dias in that game. Erling
So-
Haaland had bossed Ruben Dias that game. He just showed him who's the best defender in
Yeah,
the
but
world, who's Van Dijk still.
that's
That's one
Erling
off
Haaland.
game. That's
the
one
problem.
off game. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's the problem. Like, so they couldn't. Like, that is where Trent also suffers, because Trent needs that support, and you
Yeah,
need that.
I agree.
There's a lot of coordination going on with defenses, especially the back four is not. There is not one person who's culpable generally in a goal. It's the whole structure, like the Vinicius goal. I think Nat Phillips and Trent were supposed to be playing on that side, right? On the right.
Yeah.
And
You know, if
Vinicius
there was
went
Joe
through them.
Gomez, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
even
you know,
Joe Gomez, I don't think
covers the
fulfills
right
that
side
role
also.
perfectly well. Yeah, I
He's
think Van
still
Dijk
fast
covers
enough
so
to
many
reach that
holes,
point.
so many holes. Like, I think Van Dijk should have won the best player when he was nominated for it, because you can see, like, exactly, like, not even exactly, you realize over a period of time that this part of the game was covered by Van Dijk, this was covered. There are like 20 different issues that were solved by one man on that pitch, which is because of which this loop, there is so much synchronization, and there is a central, I can't find the word for it, but there's a symmetry and there is a sync between this team, and because when they're at their best, each and every cog is doing its job, and they combine and they become the monster that we've seen.
All of
But-
this is being realized when Van Dijk is injured. You know, when
Yes,
he's
and
missing.
see, that's
the worst part.
as we talked with Lewandowski, the sign of a world-class superstar player. When he's missing, you realize what you miss. Okay, we have to move on. Liverpool were pretty bad. We know that. They
I don't
did
think they're
well for a
winning
bit.
the second leg either. They might even
Yeah,
get
let-
to draw
let- yeah.
maximum. Yeah.
I don't think so, because if that trio
I think
turns
that's
up
that.
again, if that midfield trio turns up again, you're not
There's no
scoring
stopping
3 goals
that.
against
You're not
those
scoring.
guys.
You're not. Yeah, I
You're not
agree.
scoring, and the backline issues will remain. Van Dijk is not coming back next week. Let's be honest.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, we're already at 48 minutes. We need to move. So let's get to Man City Dortmund. I didn't watch the game. I wish
watched
I could have watched the game, but
simultaneously.
the simultaneous issue is always there, and I can't watch two games at once. It's just impossible for me. I will not focus on either. I will not be able
I
to
didn't
talk about either
focus
game.
much on Dortmund versus Man City, but I still watched it a bit. And the
Hmm.
only concern with the match is, okay, fine. Dortmund did put up a performance. They were unlucky sometimes,
Hmm.
especially with the Jude Bellingham goal disallowed.
Oh yeah,
Now,
that
that's
was
the controversy. I think even if we just talk about that, that'll cover the whole of the game. So the
Yeah,
thing
go
is,
ahead.
I'll just explain what the incident was. So if you haven't watched it or anything, so
Yeah,
Jude
I
Bellingham-
know what happened. Like, just like, give
Yeah,
your
just
summary
recap
on it. Like, you
I'll
don't have to
just-
get
I'll
into
just
details
tell
about
you-
it. I know what happened. Yeah.
I'll just tell you what I saw. So what I saw was
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah,
Jude
that's what I want.
Bellingham chased Edison, who
Hmm.
was juggling the ball, and he toe
Yeah.
punted the ball out of his head. And Edison kicked his leg. Okay, so that's the clumsy end. Now what happened was the referee saw this incident. Jude Bellingham is here. The goal is here. No, nothing is in between. Just before he takes the shot, the referee blows the whistle. Now here's the problem. If the ref thinks it's a foul, fair enough. You can't teach it. You can't see everything through the naked eye. Fair enough. Blow the whistle after the goal. He's clear through on goal. I feel that
Let
the
VAR
reason
come
why he
into
did
play.
that- Yeah, let VAR come into play. You know, you're not better than the technology. You might be one great of a referee or anything.
Not even that.
You-
That's
you
just
can
policy. Who cares about
Yeah.
great or not? Like, that's just policy. We do that with offsides. We've been doing that for a while. That's
Yeah,
what
they
the
asked
say
for-
change
what do you
has been,
say,
right?
the-
We've had a debate on it also.
The third referees to keep their flags down, right? If you're not sure
Yes.
about it, keep your flags down. Fair enough.
Yes.
He blew the whistle.
Even if you
before.
are, doesn't matter. Like, let the play end. Let the play end. That's the objective.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You know what the problem is? He blew the whistle before, and this is where the match fixing bit comes in. Because when he blew the whistle, he knew VAR couldn't intervene because he was
Yeah.
outside the box.
Yes.
That's where it ruled out the whole thing. So his decision
Yeah.
won't even be questioned. And
Yeah, because it's
Dortmund
not a
was
goal
completely wrong
or
before.
anything like that. So you can't have a
If it's
VAR
not
come
a
into
goal,
play
if
at
it's
all.
not in the penalty, what do you say? Box? It doesn't go to.
No,
VAR.
but if a
I mean,
shot
that's
inside
fair.
the penalty box would have made a difference. I don't think so.
No, it would have. If it was
It would
inside
have.
the penalty box, then
No,
VAR
like
would have
I'm not
checked it.
talking about the foul. I'm talking about the shot. Like, if the shot is inside the penalty box, would that have made a difference?
I'm sorry, I don't understand. If he had taken the ball away from in the penalty box,
No, I'm asking, like, even if Bellingham took the ball from outside the penalty box, I'm not talking about the foul. I'm talking about the shot. If Bellingham, instead of from outside the penalty box, he had shot from inside the penalty box, do you think that would have made a difference?
no. If it's a shorted goal, then it gets checked. So that's fine. So the problem was
Hmm.
that he blew the whistle. Before even the goal, he was clean.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah.
So this is where
yeah.
the match fixing comes in terms. Like, why did he do that? He just
There was
came
no
clear
need to
about.
do it. Yes, that's
And
stupid.
then this is
Either
the
it's
VAR
extremely stupid
loophole.
or there is something else going on.
Yeah, it's extremely stupid most probably. I mean, you can't just accuse
Yeah, like
someone
I'm
of
not
match
expecting
fixing
match
without
fixing
it.
shit to go, especially with
Yeah,
City's track record for the past couple of years and the butting of heads with UEFA. I'm pretty sure that's not the case.
yeah,
They've
I
been on the
guess.
opposite end of this a lot more than on the right
Yeah,
side. So
I had this comment somewhere from Twitter also. Like, years it has happened. It's been happening to us. No one speaks about it. But when
yeah,
we do it, like
City fans
supposedly
have a very
everyone's
good.
slamming on
They're
it.
really good at being victims. You've seen that before.
Yeah,
We don't have to get into it.
yeah. Still, I don't think that was the right decision. And this is where the VAR loophole comes in between. Like, to be fair, you can't have VAR decision for every on-field it is decision.
Yeah.
You have to let the referee go. And as just
Yeah.
was outside the box, the VAR could intervene.
Yeah,
So
but
this was the scam that took place.
the ref is not like the ref knows the rules. That's the weird part about it. It's not even a
Yeah,
loophole.
so
The ref is the loophole. The VAR has done
yeah,
nothing wrong here. Like, just
exactly.
wait a second before the whistle fucking blows, man. Let it go. Like, you've been doing that. That's the rule. That's how you're supposed to do it. Like, I don't see any reason for doing that. Okay.
Exactly. You can't even
Before
beat
I
the
get too
VAR.
pissed about it, let's move on to the next one. Let's move on to the the weirdest of the
Chelsea and
four
Porto.
games, the Chelsea Porto one. Like, well, the XG and everything indicate that Porto did a lot better than
Porto
what the
played
scoreline
well, yeah.
suggests. And
But I think, that's what has been happening with Chelsea, though. It's not about expected goals. They just keep the ball long
I
enough.
don't think any Chelsea fan would care. Like, they'll be like, yeah,
Yeah.
2-0 scoreline. Who
It's
cares?
two
Like,
goals
I
to us, the
don't.
away goals. We don't care.
It's not
about
the most
it.
surprising scoreline anyway. Like, yeah, Chelsea were
Yeah.
going to be. They
Especially
have
after the
they
West
have
Brom
better
game.
players. Let's just face facts. They spent 200 million in the off season. That's what they spent it for, to have the edge, even though their philosophy or their attacking or whatever they're doing might not click 100%. They need those guys are. That's basically how Manchester United play. They're based on moment. They're based on moments of brilliance. Like, they have the players to provide that, and that's what they did. Mason Mount is an excellent player. He provided
Even
the
Kai
moment.
Havertz. So yesterday's problem was Kai Havertz had a really awful game yesterday. He didn't create a
love Kai
chance
Havertz.
on the pitch. I liked
Yeah.
I liked him too much in Bayer Leverkusen. I used to watch Europa League.
He
games
there
also.
was something that there was very
Yeah.
like he was like
He
a
just had that spark,
heliocentricity. That's another basketball term. Like, I can explain it to you if you want to know about it. But yeah, like
Go
I'm
on,
not
go
sure.
on.
A heliocentric player is basically when the whole everything on that your team does on the basketball court revolves around one player. Okay, so like
Oh, yeah.
Giannis Antetokounmpo or Luka Doncic. I don't know if you've heard of these guys.
I
They're
heard
basically
about
the
the
best
second
players in the
guy.
league. Yeah, Luka Doncic is a brilliant example of that. So what Luka's biggest thing is that Luka is 6'8", okay, but he's basically plays like a point guard. Like, everything that that goes on within the team's offense goes through Luka Doncic. Like, he's going to pass the ball, he's going to hold the ball, he's going to attack however he wants, and his passing is not like he'll just like throw it off or like he'll go in, he'll do a couple of dribbles, and suddenly he'll flip it somewhere which the defense is not expecting. He'll do his own shit and he'll do it so at his own pace that the whole game runs around him. Like, not even his own team. Even the opposition has to play according to him because he controls the pace. That's what heliocentrism is. That you control the game. Like, you are not just a player in the game. It's not possible in football that to that extent. But
I mean, the closest example to that would be he was the Messi of Leverkusen.
yes, like it's not too far from it, because I think
Yeah.
Messi was there were other players who could produce when Messi wasn't there, but Bayern Leverkusen and that team, like Bruno Fernandes is the perfect example, because quite a lot of things that are running because of Bruno, and that's what heliocentrism is as a concept. It doesn't apply that well to football, but yeah, you can still make comparisons.
Yeah,
So,
I guess
okay.
due to the amount of players on the
I
pitch,
hope it was
five
useful
to
for you to know
11.
about this, but
Yeah, it was actually quite interesting.
yeah.
Like, I also understand why it doesn't work in football. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think that's it for Chelsea versus Porto. The best youngster in the world scored a goal yesterday, Mason Mount. I'm just fanboying.
I'm a fan. Like, I'm very I don't even care about the
regret-
scoring. Like, the
Yeah.
things that he brings to a football pitch, a lot of players don't. He's all about grit, and he's all about hard work, and he's all about doing. He's always team first. That kind of ability and those kinds of things. You always like from especially like fans who watch him, like Chelsea fans, I believe should love Mason Mount.
Dude,
Because
he's like literally Chelsea boy, He
Yeah,
has
like,
that club literally embedded in his heart. He's been
Yes,
there
and
since the start,
he puts everything in his heart on the ground. Like everything is on the
Yeah.
pitch. He'll give you everything he has. And how can you not love a guy like that?
He's as much as a fan as any other fan of Chelsea. You know the way he plays, he
Yeah,
shows that.
I
He shows the
have
love
no
for the
interest
club.
in the fandom, honestly. Like because for me, like the last guy I saw who played like that was Ander Herrera. He was not a fan of the club. He loved the club. No, don't. I'm not doubting that at all. And he loved the club a lot. But what he does on the pitch is what matters to be the most. Like the additional, the fans of the club and stuff like that. That's an additional addition to his overall stature at the club. But the fact that he always gave himself to the club and he sacrificed, like he'll take cards for it, like he'll go into tackles without regards to himself. He'll go in because he loves the club and he loves playing for the club, and that's what's important. Like sacrificing everything in your body to for the club and for to improve your club. So that's what's most important from a guy like that. Like that's what I look for.